Stay tuned for the Political Twist-Up Show, powered by the Metro Detroit Compassion Club. The show starts after this.
Are you looking for medical marijuana professionals in Michigan and do not know where to turn? Visit mmma.biz. For a directory listing of products and services, search through the medical marijuana businesses at mmma.biz. That's mmma.biz.
This is the Political Twist-Up Show. PoliticalTwistUp.com if you didn't know. Here to put you in the zone. Dealing with real issues, real relevant on the real radio. Political Twist-Up Show. Political Twist-Up Show. Political Twist-Up Show. You're cooling out with the Political Twist-Up Show. Political Twist-Up Show. It's the Political Twist-Up Show.
I'm taking over my body, back in control, no more shoddy. I bet a lot of me was lost, T's and crossing I's and dotted. I fought it a lot, and it seems a lot like flesh is all I got. Not anymore, flesh out the door, swat. I must have forgot, you can't trust me. I'm open a moment and close when you show it before you know it, I'm lost to see. And now that I write and think about it and the story unfolds, you should take...
It is another great day in the state of Michigan. Welcome to the Political Twist-Up Show. Saturdays from 3 until 4 is when you can hear us. I'm Steve Green. I'm here today in our home studio with Ryan Bringle. Rick Thompson has the day off. He is out on assignment with an ASA camp today. And I'm kind of jealous of him.
He's probably getting rain done.
It is raining a little bit everywhere in the state today. Are you finding some headphones for me there? Because it's that's kind of hard to do without headphones.
We can hear each other.
Lots of stuff happening in the community. It was kind of a busy week this week. You know, I think when you look at the news, the things that are happening in the community, those are the things that most affect us when we're out there in everyday life. And the news this week was kind of good on a local level and on a national level. To some extent, locally we had one of the last of the guys in the Lansing 7, I think they call it the Lansing 7, turn himself in federally for prison. That wasn't a good thing. That was the only down note that I noticed on the week. Up notes, we got good news in Grand Rapids this week, looking at an article that Rick Thompson published in the Compassion Chronicles. That was a good thing. If you remember, we did the story on Decrim Grand Rapids, and Grand Rapids had passed their thing, back last fall with decriminalization, and we ended up, having a fight with like the city council and the legal people, mostly the prosecutor. The article that Rick Thompson, thank you, by the way, for the headphone help. Rick Thompson had published an article in the Compassion Chronicles talking about, and these don't work, by the way, just so you know. That's probably why I don't use these ones. Give a look around for the other ones. I know they're over there. So Rick had published an article in the Compassion Chronicles talking about the numbers associated with that Decrim Initiative after the fact. So what's it been a few months now since this has kind of been initiated. And in that time period, and I'll reference the story when we get to talking about this, because we'll talk about this coming up in the next segment. We've got Jack Hoffman on. Jack is the attorney associated with the Decrim Grand Rapids Initiative and has been principally instrumental in getting this accomplished there. And the pushback has kind of waned. There's still some some stuff going on in the background legally, but it seems like it's kind of settling out and it's manageable, and they're going to keep that thing in place. But the numbers that Rick talked about in the Compassion Chronicles were good because talked about the number of encounters that police had with marijuana in the city, and the number of arrests that were made, and the number of citations that were issued. And it wasn't very many different between the number of encounters and the number of citations issued. So that's really good news. You can't find headphones anywhere, can you, Ryan? Well, that's really good news. But anyway, come and have a seat. We'll figure this out. So that's kind of an important thing. And we wanted to talk about that this week. That's coming up next segment. Can you hand me that over there? Some paperwork there. There you go. Yeah, thank you. So the other things that were going on this week, you notice federally, New Hampshire, the 19th legislative state to come aboard the medical marijuana bandwagon. And so we wanted to see if we couldn't get maybe Hillary Delaney from the American Cultivator to come on and talk about that, because she's got some big connections out there. Hillary's off having fun in Chicago somewhere doing something. Nice. So we're not going to talk to her. I wanted to try and get Greg Pulowski on. Greg Pulowski works with Woodward Health Solutions down in Detroit. And has been, was in New Hampshire working that campaign. So these are kind of the, fruits of his labor out there, working with those guys at the legislative level, trying to get this done there. And I think when you put New Hampshire into the big picture, when you put that whole pie together with the other states involved, now you've got almost like a green zone. For the first time ever anywhere in the United States, there's this green zone of medical marijuana states that are all connected together.
We're almost at the halfway point.
Well, what's almost?
That would be...
I think we're there already. I think we're at halfway up point. The national polling is...
I would say 25.
75, 80% of people in America, the polling suggests, agree with the medical marijuana issue.
Well, the people are ahead of the law for sure.
Right, but I'm saying what's halfway? That was my
25 would be halfway.
Well, halfway is the number of states voted, but my point is, isn't it really in position and sentiment what people want? Because that's what everyday people, when they expect to interact with their government, act from an everyday perspective. They don't act from a legislative perspective. They don't act from a legal perspective. They act from, I'm doing my stuff today.
Right.
Perspective. And I guess most people don't get that the government's too stupid to figure out how to come down to that level.
Right. Well,
they don't, when you expect,
that's where the politics comes in, because even if they know right from wrong or what would be beneficial, they're not always doing what's best for the community. They're doing what's best for the dirty money. So, I would say having 19 states is good. The federal government still hasn't said a whole lot about Colorado or Oregon, so I'm still interested to see how it's all going to play out. Eventually, considering Mexico, Vicente Fox has said that he's going to decriminalize marijuana for that, whole country. When are they going to say something? When is this going to be a topic that comes to the forefront of the federal government and we can all have a real conversation about it?
It's coming. It's coming. It's on its way. That train started rolling down the tracks, I'd say, in the late 90s.
Well, see, it should be here. It's running late. So, the whole thing is, it's a conversation that should be on the plate now, and it's still not. There's always tomorrow, I guess, but it's time. The people are ready for a decrim law. We're sick of watching people go to jail, especially in the African American community. It's a biased, racist law because most of the people that get in trouble for marijuana are African American or brown skin Americans.
Well, people of color aren't the only ones. I mean,
but they're the highest percentage.
They certainly are picked on more from the standpoint of both arrests and prosecutions. They end up in jail more. They end up in prison more for these crimes.
So how can you say it's not biased or flawed?
I didn't say that. I just
No,
said
no,
they
but
were
people,
the
I
only
mean,
ones.
once again, it's an open and obvious type situation. These are the stats. The numbers prove that statement is true, but yet we keep jailing them. And who's really there? Who's going to have that conversation? The first black president who was part of the Choom gang? Obviously not. So, it's just I'm sick of waiting for a conversation that should have happened already. So I have an opinion that's a little different than most, of course. But, that's why we're here on the radio and do what we do, because we try to get people engaged and get them thinking.
Well, we're certainly going to try and do that today. We'll have LJ on from Advanced Nutrients in just a bit. I really wish I had
the mad scientist of growing in California.
I really wish there's a lot of stuff that you can find out from LJ. Also,
and not all of it's growing.
no, LJ's a great guy. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
Steve Sharp, if we can get a hold of him, we want to talk about this business about Ferndale and Jackson.
Absolutely.
Both getting on the ballot this week. Well, next week they're going to turn in the number of required signatures necessary to get them on the ballot in the fall.
See, I would say that goes back to my statement earlier that the people are ahead of the law, because Michigan as a whole won't decrim, but we're going to decrim Michigan city by city by city.
So as it stands, I know we'll be able to talk to Jack Hoffman, assuming A, I can get the phone connected, because that's an issue just yet.
All right.
Then B, I don't know if we'll be able to talk to Greg Pulowski. I've been unable to reach him. Apparently the number I had for him is no longer working, so
now
I
that
tried
he's
to get a hold of him through some connections, but we'll see if we can get a hold of him before the show's out. And then also the other person that I wanted to try and talk to, Steve Sharp. Did I say Steve Sharp just then? Because I'm sorry.
It was Steve
Sharp and Greg Pulowski. Those
Yes.
are the two that I don't know are gonna, whether I'm gonna be able to get a hold of them through.
Is Greg back in Michigan, or is he still?
No,
on
Greg,
the
I
East
believe,
Coast?
is here in Michigan
Okay.
right now. I believe. I mean, I don't know. I'm
I was going
completely
to say maybe he has a
completely
East Coast
talking
number.
out of my rear. Part of the problem is we don't have headphones. What's up with the headphones? Anyway, and we should be getting ready for break here. Thank God, because without headphones, it makes it really hard. Actually, maybe it won't be so hard if I just keep the volume at low like this. Because I was worried about not being able to figure out when the break's coming. I know the break's coming.
We'll just talk through the breaks.
I hate it when stuff like this happens. It's weird. The headphones are on the fritz. We'll be right back. More on the Political Twist Up Show. It's the Multimedia Digital Network. From the Iron Lab Studios. Powered by the Metro Detroit Compassion Club. The Political Twist Up Show.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
If you or someone you know received a traffic ticket, has been charged with a misdemeanor, drinking and driving, criminal offense, or has had their driver's license taken away, they need an attorney. They need attorney Glenn McCandless. He's helped hundreds of people solve their legal problems over the past 16 years.
My law firm is dedicated to providing quality legal services at affordable rates.
Call us at 586-755-2900. Again, that's 586-755-2900. Call now.
Are you looking for medical marijuana professionals in Michigan and do not know where to turn? Visit mmma.biz. For a directory listing of products and services, search through the medical marijuana businesses at mmma.biz. That's mmma.biz.
Get everything you need at Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers. It's summertime, and the best of what you need for indoor and outdoor gardening is at your local Hydrovision store, where your indoor gardening dreams come true outside, too. Equipment and supplies, they got it. Nearby locations, they got it. And the friendly, helpful staff is full of answers to all your gardening needs. Hydrovision. Get great prices. Mention my name, Steve Green, for a special discount. Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers in Howell, Fenton, Richmond, Trenton, and Belleville, one near you, or go to myhydrovision.com.
The Political Twist Up Radio Show.
Okay, we're back on a very rainy, raining hard here. Coming down like cats and dogs here. Saturday in Michigan, the Political Twist Up Show. Back in the home studio today, the Iron Lab studio, with Ryan. Ryan is our show producer, and thank God we got a show producer because right now he's dripping from running out and putting the windows up. I
just did my dog shake.
So, it's just what's is it the rain? What's causing the issues today? There's a headphone issue, there's a phone issue, there's a Windows issue. Now Ryan's wet.
It's a Ryan wet issue, and I'm too sweet. I'll melt.
So here's the deal. Overcoming the phones with Jack Hoffman. And let me just see if I can't get him up on the phone. He should be right here.
Jack's going to tell us about what? What are we talking to Jack?
We're talking about the Grand Rapids Decrim Initiative.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Hoffman is an attorney associated with that cause.
We talked to him in the spring before
we did. We did an entire interview with him,
Denver.
like a whole show almost with him.
Yeah.
So we're seeing we get Mr. Hoffman on the phone. You know, it's always better when you've got a personal line. I think he wanted me to get a hold of him on his business line, and it's a Saturday. Said he'd be there at 3.
Hello, thank you for calling Kuiper Oilback. Our office hours are Monday.
Oh no!
We don't got him.
Let's see. Do we have another number there for Hoffman?
Maybe.
No, down here.
You had a missed call on your other phone here.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to that.
Well, what I was gonna say is it's a number that could possibly be his. Due to the exchange and area code.
No, I don't know.
No.
Nope.
Well, there you have it.
That is not it.
Not it.
So, what's up with Hoffman? See if is it.
I'll work on.
Look, I'll try and explain the situation. See if you can't get Hoffman on the phone.
All right.
Yeah, I should have. I didn't even think. He said, look, call me at my office on Saturday at I'll be there at 3. And I never stopped to think, what about the secretary? Because I figured he'd have an answer for this. Good Lord.
Well, we'll see what we can get here.
So here's the deal with the Grand Rapids Decrim Initiative. In fact, if I can, let me just see if I can't tell you about what's up with the Compassion Chronicles, because that's really where this story started this week anyways. I mean, it started with the whole Decrim Initiative, and then it kind of progressed with us talking about it on the show and having Mr. Hoffman on and helping to kind of see that through and, trying to follow the legal path of it. And then, I thought it was really smart for Rick Thompson to do a follow-up on this so that you could kind of see what the results of doing this kind of legislation locally are. And I think that's really important. So, see if I can find the article here on his website. I'm seeing the petitions being submitted for cities.
I see a bunch of people from Hash Bash.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for.
Oh.
There's got to be a better way. Really, honestly.
Well, I'm going to comment again about the Hash Bash people. They looked like they were having fun.
Why are you changing the subject?
Oh, well, because that's what I saw on the screen, and that's what got my interest.
What are you like you're like 12?
Well, I like what I like, and it's more fun than...
It's more fun?
Yeah, do what you like.
Just can somebody kill me now?
Kill him now. Kill him now.
So, Mr. Thompson, I'm trying to find. He sent me. You know what? I'm looking in the wrong place. I tell him to send it to my email, but he ends up Facebooking it to me. He posts it on my Facebook page.
I see.
So, let's just see if we can't get there now. Where's the stupid? Oh, good lord! It's killing me. It's just
Look at
killing
that.
me.
You had homers up there. Well,
Who? What? Why do you gotta like say? Are you the kind of guy that like reads the billboards when you go down the road, aren't you? You would drive. That's what you were doing all the way to Denver.
That's
hey,
right.
look at that billboard. It
that's
says
right.
all this.
Yeah, that's how you find out what they're doing in that town.
I love you, Ryan.
You got to find out the cool stuff.
So there's the petitions thing again. Okay, here we go. Grand Rapids Initiative. Yeah, it's better when you find the link.
There you go. Link.
So I'll just read this to you because it's brief and it's kind of poignant. Testifying before a Grand Rapids Public Safety Committee meeting on Tuesday, Grand Rapids Police Lieutenant William Nowicki reported police encounters for use and possession of marijuana are as frequent as they were last year, but the consequences changed, and that's the important part. But an election in 2012, of course, changed possession and use of small amounts of marijuana from a misdemeanor offense resolved by the courts to a civil infraction now resolved with a ticket. Despite legal battles and changing opinions from city attorney, the new charter amendment became effective on May 1st. In the 83 days since, Nowicki reports that Grand Rapids police have encountered 266 individuals who've either used or possessed less than 2.5 ounces of cannabis. Nearly all of them were ticketed under the new rule. 22 were given more serious charges related to other issues. MLive reports as Nowicki's explanation. According to the same period in 2012, Grand Rapids reported 259 incidents that were recorded as marijuana cases of a misdemeanor nature. The numbers don't lie. Costs savings are in play here. 244 tickets issued over 83 days amounts to nearly 3 civil infractions written every calendar day. That equates to 3 arrests avoided each day, 3 court cases not called each day, and 3 police encounters each day that do not result in a drug charge on a citizen's permanent record. And that's really the impact here, isn't it, Ryan?
Absolutely. That's great. I love it. It should be a ticket.
Beyond the social advantages of not criminalizing people for, victimless crimes like this, the financial advantage will be more difficult to realize. Nowicki reported that the average fee assessed for a marijuana misdemeanor ranges from $178 to $400. The median number in that range is $289. Those 244 tickets could have racked up an estimated $70,516 for the city. Civil infraction tickets are $25, $50, and $100 for the first, second, and third offense, assuming that all the offenses in the first 83 days were also first offenses for the citizens involved. Those 244 tickets represent a financial gain of $6,100. Despite losing roughly $250 per case in revenue, the savings will be realized in ways that are particularly difficult to measure. And he goes on to talk about, prosecutors, the way they're paid, how the courts need to the courts
set up the
system.
case and gather information.
And really that's what this is about in the long run. That's what the background drama is.
Just the fact that you're not taking that officer off the street. When you arrest somebody, they have to take them down to the police station, fingerprint them, do all this legwork. Now that officer's not on the street. He's not saving anybody. He's not there to help anybody. He's not doing what he's
doing his
intended
job
to
anymore.
do. Exactly. So, yeah, this is a much better way to deal with something as benign as marijuana.
There was some noise being made. You might notice in the background, some little doo-doo. That might be Facebook telling us something. See if
that was my stomach. I'm hungry.
See if maybe one of those on the phone. See if no, not that phone, the other phone, because see if somebody said something on the Facebook. It might be either Greg or Steve Sharp calling back. So, anyways, this thing with Grand Rapids is important. It shows impact. It's only been like short of 3 months since this had been implemented, and
however, it was voted on back in November. For the record, it took that long to get this.
Don't draw that drama into this. That's how all these things go. It doesn't matter if they were, say, changing the local liquor law.
But it doesn't mean it's okay to drag your feet. It's
not really foot dragging. It's just administrative time. They need some time to put stuff. they have to have meetings, and things are changing. People have to do things differently. There needs to be a different system in place. So really, I cannot fault them for, it's really not that bad. Look at the Medical Marijuana Act, when or any people's initiative. It's going to take, several months between the time that you actually enact, the law by voting it in,
Right,
and implementing it by, actually putting changes in place, and it's going to take some time. So I cannot fault the system for. It's really not that bad for time. The thing I think that that this reflects on a bigger scale, if you draw back the camera from the state of Michigan, or from Grand Rapids to the state of Michigan to the whole United States, you see how this impacts the courts. You see how it impacts. You free all this stuff up. Like you said, we were talking about the police. You free up the police. You free up the courts so that they can do the things that really have meaningful.
absolutely. Well, what they were intended to do was protect and serve the community.
Well, that's the police, but I'm just saying they're all the other resources, including the police, are also freed up.
I think the courts are there to do the same, though. They regulate the community. They enforce the law. The police aren't really law enforcement as much as they are of, that's their title, law enforcement, but I think the court really enforces the law, because you go in there and either you're guilty or not, and then they enforce the rule or the punishment.
I take it you didn't get anything from Pulowski?
No, there's no.
What was the noise then? That was really weird.
I don't know. My stomach. I already told you.
No, it wasn't. I asked you serious questions. You gave me comedy.
I'm all comedy, kiddo. Yeah, there's nothing here on your Facebooks and
nothing. I got nothing.
You got nothing.
So we're muddling through this on our own. I don't mind. I've got the appetite to consume this. It's just nice when you've got reflectivity from people that are involved.
Right. Absolutely. Well, it'd be great to be able to get Greg on the phone and find out exactly what the experience being there was
honestly,
like.
We were going to talk about, the Forsberg situation. Dennis Forsberg turned himself in. I mentioned this in the last segment. See, there's that noise again.
It's on your computer.
Yeah, I know, but what is it? Usually that's a Facebook message.
That's funny. You're making me think of what was that movie, Castaway, when the coconuts were dropping, and he kept saying, "What is that noise? Who's
Yeah, it's
doing
driving
that?"
me insane. Because it's not, from whence does that come? That was another movie, wasn't it? Something Wicked.
Yeah, Something Wicked. Yeah, look at that.
So we were going to talk about Dennis Forsberg turning himself in, and I was going to get Dennis's wife on the phone and kind of have her explain what the impact of this is. I mean, it's not just Dennis going to jail, but look at the family, and look at the community. I mean, Dennis was a productive member of the community. He was a tax-paying citizen. Now he might as well be on the public dole.
Right. Well, he is. Somebody's got to pay for him to have food and showers and pretty clothes.
Well, and expensive union guards who are standing around making sure that,
that only their friends get to have cigarettes.
Right. Hey, is that my coffee?
It's ridiculous.
There it is again. It's I just want to.
You're popular.
No, I want to murder something. I really do. It's driving me insane because it makes the noise, but you can't identify where it's coming from.
There you go. Try that.
I'm just not seeing it. That's
nothing important.
Yeah, but well, I do have like 5,000 windows open on the computer.
There you go.
And they're all internet windows too. They're not like there it is. Oh, that's got it.
See, that's what it is.
Is it this?
No, I think it's the messaging on the right hand side.
Over here?
Yep. I think it's the messaging.
Oh, man.
The Insto messaging.
No, there's tons of them flying, but they're not sending me any. I don't. Okay, this is going bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's see if that
I
fixes
cannot deal with the noise in the background. It's so distracting. So it didn't work out with Dennis because Dennis's wife, because she was unavailable this week. She wanted to kind of do it next week. And I'm like,
so he's in the
not really
system.
News next week.
He's in custody.
Turned himself in.
And he's looking at 3 years?
Yeah, he's got 3 years.
Jeez.
That's
a long time.
It's a shame. It's just such a shame. But we didn't get a chance to have him, and so I wanted to talk about the Lansing. I'm sorry. Give me that thing over there again. I keep losing this stuff. Yeah, I need all that stuff. Ferndale and Jackson. I keep saying Lansing when I mean, because Lansing was in the mix too.
Right. Well,
Lansing's still working on getting their numbers together.
Right.
So they haven't got quite enough signatures yet. But God, I would hope that they would.
I think they can achieve that goal. If the people...
I know Danny Trevino and the guys out there at Hydro World are just working really hard to get that done.
Right.
You
got to do the footwork.
They started this when Ryan Basor there was a going away party for Ryan Basor, up at the old TikTok cafe in Lansing, and I went to that, and all these guys were there. Dennis was there. There was a bunch of them.
Right.
And at that event, I really didn't know these guys were going. I didn't stop to think that these guys were going away at different times. I thought when Ryan went, they all went.
It's a big party. Everybody's going together.
But it's horrible. I hate seeing friends like that.
3 years is a long
going
time.
off. I mean, I don't.
6 months is a long time.
They're when I say friends, they're associates in the community. You know what I mean? I don't know these people personally. Rick does. Rick.
The
really
problem
good
is
Ryan.
we're sending non-violent people to long sentences that make no sense.
Well, we got 10 years.
It makes no sense. They're not harming anybody. They never hurt anybody.
And now we're paying for them in there.
It's bad.
And they're, now they're going to be probably subject to all kinds of other crap that happens when you're in an institution like that. So they're going to get some charge for beating somebody's butt for doing something because they had to defend themselves. They're going to get. It's just going to make it much worse.
Yep. Oh, it's not helping.
The whole business with the criminal justice system is on its head. The system runs people. It's not people running the system.
Absolutely. And then you put private prison money involved in this. Thank God we don't have that running here in Michigan currently.
What?
The private prison system isn't.
Oh no! Don't even think about that. Look at it. That's not even true. That's not even true.
What?
There are bids from private companies working private prison in Michigan right now. Right now.
That's not good. Now, I know there's contractors that work at our jails and prisons, but I didn't think we actually had a for-profit prison running here yet.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well,
and what they do is they contract the prisons out. They don't build a new prison and it's, JCO Incorporated Prisons block,
JCO.
It's what they do is they take over an existing, prison. And then they say, look, and here's what's bad about it. When you privatize prisons, they say, look, in order for us to make this deal with you, because we'll save you money, it won't cost you as much as you do it yourself, but we need these jails filled at 90% capacity in order to take this contract on. How you doing that? Without the pot guys in Grand Rapids going to jail, you bastards. We'll see you soon. Hang on. We got to come back from the break. It's the Political Twist-Up Show on the Multimedia Digital Network. The Political Twist-Up Show.
If you or someone you know received a traffic ticket, has been charged with a misdemeanor, drinking and driving, criminal offense, or has had their driver's license taken away, they need an attorney. They need attorney Glenn McCandless. He's helped hundreds of people solve their legal problems over the past 16 years.
My law firm is dedicated to providing quality legal services at affordable rates.
Call us at 586-755-2900. Again, that's 586-755-2900. Call now.
Are you looking for medical marijuana professionals in Michigan and do not know where to turn? Visit mmma.biz. For a directory listing of products and services, search through the medical marijuana businesses at mmma.biz. That's mmma.biz.
The Political Twist-Up Radio Show.
Who's selling this show anymore? I mean, are we selling this show? Because that was the shortest break ever. I mean, it was like a one commercial break.
You have to pee quicker now.
Back on the Political Twist-Up Show. Happy Saturday. Happy drippy Saturday to you.
That sounded kind of gross, but...
Well, it is. It's raining like cats and dogs on and off. It's the popcorn variety afternoon thunderstorm stuff that you get in the summer.
We've got subtropical weather.
So Jackson and Ferndale coming up here this segment.
I applaud their efforts.
What a great success story. I mean, we can add now Jackson and because you know they're going to vote these in.
Absolutely.
I mean,
we
it would
talked
be
about
if
this.
if either one of these failed, and
It'd
I
be a
just don't
shock.
even think the chance is there. I would be absolutely legs up in the air. I mean,
If I had to pick, not that one's going to fail, but if I had to pick, I would say it would be the Jackson one would have the harder time because it is a more conservative community. Ferndale, not a chance. That's going to go through gangbusters.
shocked would be an understatement.
And like I said, we can't seem to get the lawmakers in this state to decriminalize the state. So we're just chipping away one city at a time, and we'll get our way. Either way, the people are going to get what they want.
I just think when you get the pushback from this at the legislative end and at the police end, they're dragging their feet up a very steep hill, don't you think?
It's what they've been trained to do. I think it's education. Once again, they don't know any better.
No,
They've been told.
I think the
that-
police are the most educated about this than anybody. But when I think they are.
No,
I'm not talking about the act and the laws and all that stuff. I'm
the
talking
active
about
street
impact.
cop.
What I'm talking about is impact on, if I'm a cop and I'm out there running the
I'm
beat,
leaving.
and the guy's got some pot, and the other, all these other guys are out here doing some stuff. I am not interested in the guy with the pot. I just don't care, because and I think most police are like that. The problem is that they've been trained and now given incentive that's where you go. You don't go after the rapists and the murderers because those are cost negative. They cost, it's redlining their budget.
Low-hanging
They have to
fruit.
spend money to the resources are being spent on those cases, not being made.
Right.
This is policing for profit. And it's been that way since the 80s with the Reagan administration. This is when this policing for profit really began, was during
Right.
that administration. And it's been ramped up several times.
Yes.
It keeps getting huge funding from the federal government. You know why? Because it's part of our economy.
Right.
And this is why I think Obama's like, well, you know what? I'm really friendly towards the medical marijuana states. I get that whole business, but
Disagree.
But I can't relent on the prosecution of this stuff. Even though I said I wouldn't, I wanted to. When I look at the budget, I can't do it.
The money's not there.
No, it's not that the money's not there. It's that they're making money from these activities. So this is kind of like cutting taxes in a way. And Obama needs tax money right now.
Which, there you go. The
So
government
that's-
doesn't have the money, so
really,
they're harassing us.
When you look at the strings pulling the puppets, I think, that's the way I would describe it. I would explain this hopefully in that. That would be my best light, my best view on that situation, giving him the benefit of the doubt. To say, hey, it might be that. Because there's a lot of stuff that happens when you're president you can't A, talk about, and B, you'll never hear about when, if you're a citizen. And I think if you look in his eyes and you understand him as a person and you look at the way he ran and then you look at what he's got to deal with, doesn't that kind of point in that direction?
Sure. But I still don't give him a free pass on some things. I think that
Oh, I'm not saying free pass. I'm just trying
somebody's got to make the change. Who's it going to be? You're our guy. We believed in you.
Well, we certainly did, didn't we? Now, this Ferndale and
Jackson
issue. Boy, I never noticed that before. He's got some coding here that doesn't belong. Come on, he's got ads popping up everywhere too.
So these are good to go. They're going to be on the ballot for these people in November.
Marijuana is the new beer. I love it.
Interesting.
Well, that's the story. That's Rick's story. Marijuana is the new beer. Petitions being submitted, 2 cities, marijuana decriminalization vote, appearing on the ballot next November. Steve Sharp says the biggest challenge. Now, Steve Sharp, he's a Jacksonite. And he's part of Michigan Normal.
Good.
And, they've been working out there a really long, Normal's a 40-year-plus organization. And so, Steve's not been involved that long. But the biggest challenge, he says, in collecting petition signatures and finding people that are actually registered to vote. Can you believe that, Ryan?
I can't believe it because I vote. But yes, I do believe it. I know tons of people.
Way, I got a comment, by the way, on the Detroit thing. Did you see the business with? First off, Mike Dugan, who wasn't he head of the hospital? He was head of a
DMC former
medical,
prosecutor. Yeah.
Mike Dugan's been trying to get on the ballot there. He had a battle in the courts that said, no, you didn't do something right. You weren't living here. He didn't file his paperwork the right way or something. Couldn't get on.
Dates.
It's all about time.
Yep.
He didn't live here in time.
Right.
And so in Detroit. And so and this is a quick aside, by the way.
Yes.
And so he ended up having to be a write-in candidate. And so he at first he pitched in the towel. He's like, you know what? I don't see a path forward. I'm done with this.
He didn't want to waste.
We'll try
time.
next time.
That's right.
We know what to do now next time. And then he's like, hey, you know what? I'm a write-in candidate.
Well,
so maybe he did find a pathway forward.
His supporters wouldn't let him out of it, is what it boiled down to. The people that had backed him.
There's
to
a lot of people
point.
that would see Mike Dugan as a favor for Detroit.
Absolutely. Everything he's touched, he's been successful at. His track record.
He's got a proven track record.
There
so
you go.
He certainly was before he was taken off by the courts, before the court battles happened, he was in the lead in the polling.
Well, that's why they had to get rid of him.
And so now he's back on as a write-in candidate. But did you see how that got mired up this week?
Yeah, there's another guy.
With the name Mike Dugan, just an everyday guy, never done anything in his life. He's a barber, and his spelling is different. So he thought it would be funny. And I think Charlie LaDuff had something to do with this, egging him on. Hey, dude, why don't you go run? I think that's what happened.
See that we can't.
I'm guessing. I'm just speculating, but I think it's what happened. Anyways, that was funny, by the way. So, ballot November. He says, he should know. This is the way the article reads. He should know. Steve Sharp should know. He's spearheaded the effort to put the question of decriminalization of marijuana on the November 2013 Jackson City ballot. More than 500 signatures have been collected, and the petitions are ready to be turned in. Sharp says he'll submit the documents to the city officials on Tuesday, July 30th. So the end of the month.
There you go.
And then Ferndale residents have collected enough signatures to get a similar measure on their ballot as well. And those completed petitions will be delivered on the same day.
Nice.
Both groups of activists plan to hand over their signatures at 10 a.m. at the city clerk's offices in their respective cities, and both are calling on media and supporters to join them. I believe the papers have been alerted and they're on their way. I think this is going to get some newspaper coverage, at least in Detroit.
So
I'm sure M Live would be on it too.
Real quick, we have Detroit, Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, Flint, Michigan. Who else is in this? We have Grand Rapids
by Decrim.
So the major cities are all falling one by one. I mean, it's definitely happening.
Well, it would be silly for the state not to follow suit.
That's what I think about the federal government.
Why are you going to have two orders of rule depending on where you're at?
Exactly. That's conflict.
It's like the Dry County idea,
right? Which they still do in the South. Yeehaw.
Or they'll have police staking out at the city border. Hey, you're over there, and you're okay over there, but wait till you come over here, hee-haw!
And they got you. We got another one.
It's really silly. And again, they wouldn't be doing this. They don't care. I've talked to your everyday police. I've worked with them all my life. My mother's been a part of the court system since I was a little kid.
Right.
I go to lunch with these people. I know these people. They took a different view of me when I became a part of this crowd because I became a dollar sign to them.
Right. Money's popular.
I mean, these are friends. I'd sit down and have food with them, break bread with them, discuss. How's your family doing? How's your daughter? Is she still dating so and so? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, when money gets involved, things change.
Hey, you're a dollar sign now, boy.
Give me 100.
Yeah, they want more than a hundo.
No. Well, I try not.
They want more than a hundo.
I'd try to stay out of that realm.
Well, it's really difficult. And that's really where this show began, actually, as the Medical Marijuana Radio Show 3 years ago.
Right.
I keep trying to talk about other stuff. It just never happens. I mean, we talked about the Dugan thing, but it's brief insight. It's not really. We don't have enough time to really focus on it, given our clientele and our audience.
Well, and that's not really. People know about that. It's been well covered through.
Well, the
regular
subject
media.
of medical marijuana or the really drug policy issue or drug policy reform issue
absolutely
doesn't get enough attention.
No.
And it really needs grease on the wheels because it would save us so much freaking money.
I was watching Tavis Smiley. You know that show?
Blood and Money, I might say.
Do you know that show?
Tavis Smiley, yeah.
He had a doctor/scientist who's, a tenured professor at Stanford.
I got to see this about Tavis Smiley. I always like his guests. He's got great guests, but I just don't like Tavis.
Oh, I like Tavis. Keep the faith. Anyways, he had, this tenured scientist from Stanford on. And, they kind of went over why the scientific community doesn't come out and talk about the chemistry of drugs and what truly is harmful and what isn't harmful, because most of those guys are conservative and their job isn't to be the voice. Their job is to find out the science and the facts. So what you do is you're the voice. That's your job. You're out here telling us what we need to know. And this is a subject, like you said, that's not covered enough, and it's hard to find good information on anything marijuana related.
Spin on it. I mean, okay, some people that would be from an oppositional side would say, no, you spin all this. You spin this all the time. But I really don't. I just report information. I choose to report information that others don't.
Right.
I choose to seek other information others don't.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't... is that spin? I don't think it's spin.
I think you're seeking out the truth. I think we see spin every day on the regular media outlets. That's spin.
Well, anytime CNN diverts from its world coverage from all of the other news happening in the rest of the world to a single Trayvon Martin trial. Right. I mean, the issue is important, yes. Run it in the corner. Is there something else happening? Because, were you the only... was I the only one that was vomitous during this whole trial, aside from the emotional issues attached?
The reason they play that is it sells ads.
Well, yeah, I know, but
it's not news.
This is why we have PBS, which the Republicans want to get rid of that.
Yeah, well, of course, because it helps people. And
Tavis Smiley wouldn't be around without PBS.
I love Tavis. Keep the faith.
Keep the faith.
Sorry, Tavis. I hope I'm not stepping on your feet. I'm trying to promote you.
Who I miss is I miss Dennis Holy from in Detroit doing. Dennis Holy used to do. Late Night America. It was a live interview show like Larry King, but it came out of Detroit in their old studios downtown, which was, that was crazy business down there. Back in the auction days.
Right.
Showing my age now. We'll be back. LJ from Advanced Nutrients. Ask the Gardener segment coming up next on the Political Twist Up Show. This is the Multimedia Digital Network. The Political Twist Up Show.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Get everything you need at Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers. It's summertime, and the best of what you need for indoor and outdoor gardening is at your local Hydrovision store, where your indoor gardening dreams come true outside too. Equipment and supplies, they got it. Nearby locations, they got it. And the friendly, helpful staff is full of answers to all your gardening needs. Hydrovision. Get great prices. Mention my name, Steve Green, for a special discount. Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers in Howell, Fenton, Richmond, Trenton, and Belleville, one near you, or go to myhydrovision.com.
The Political Twist Up Radio Show.
I need some new bumper music, Ryan.
I like this one.
This is cool music.
It is. It's good.
I was I don't know. I can't say where I get this list from. There's a hit list that I get this from, and
it's not called the hit list, I'm sure.
No, it is.
Well, the cat's out of the bag.
I don't know. People don't know. The reference is vague for most listeners.
There you go.
Seeing if I can get LJ from Advanced Nutrients on the phone.
While you're doing that, I'd like
Ask the Gardener segment.
Let everybody know that the Mackinaw Bridge Walk is coming up. And
that's right.
It's the actual
Okay.
September 2nd, so make sure you get your ducks in a row and get up there.
So we got LJ on the phone.
All right. Hello.
And LJ, did you have you ever been to the Mackinaw Bridge?
I'm sorry?
You ever been to the Mackinaw Bridge?
Not that I recall. Where's that at?
The Mackinaw Bridge, LJ, is the bridge that spans between the lower and upper peninsula in Michigan. It held the world record for being the longest suspension bridge in the world. And
He's not going to be able to hear you through
all right. Well, for our listeners, at least they got to hear that.
Oh, okay.
So, anyways, it was the world's largest or longest expansion bridge. Now it's that record has been taken by the Japanese. They have a bridge that's 5 miles and like 300 yards, so they took our title away. But up until that point, it was the largest suspension bridge in the world. So it's a very cool bridge. A lot of people go there. It's a tourist destination, and we walk it over the Labor Day weekend. And we do that is the medical marijuana community, but it's open to all people for that one
They've
day.
walked. The governor's led a walk across the Mackinac Bridge between Upper and Lower Peninsulas for years and years. It's been a tradition in Michigan for a long time. On Labor Day, the governor walks people across it. It's the only time of the year in Michigan when you can walk across that bridge, because all other times it's prohibited.
That's right.
And while you're there doing that bridge walk, there are guys everywhere making sure you're not jumping. They got Homeland Security and Border Patrol and National Guard. They're everywhere. They're
every 25 feet.
They're up overhead looking at you. Yeah, it's crazy.
Not have you ever risk, like everybody that's contemplating suicide just waits till Labor Day.
No, I don't know. I think they're more worried. It's windy up there. You know, it's a long way down. You would probably die if you hit the water.
250 feet.
It's 250
Yeah,
foot.
they say something like 75 feet. It's like hitting concrete or something like that recently. It's like if you
That's
fall
right.
greater than 75, 100 feet, you might as well just fall into it.
There was I remember some years back, there was a lady in a Yugo. Remember the Yugos? She was driving remember the Yugoslavian car that was called a Yugo?
Oh, yeah.
She was in a Yugo driving across the bridge, and the bridge, in order to keep it from, remember the bridge, the famous picture where they got it's swaying back and forth, and the cars are falling off, and then eventually falls apart. Remember that old
Galloping Gertie.
Yeah, did you ever see that footage, LJ?
Yeah, when you guys brought it up, I started thinking, is that the same bridge?
No, that's not that bridge.
Back and forth
But
in
they
that
have
video.
ever since the reason that bridge fell apart. Part of the reason was winds, and they have to put grids under there so that they allow the air to flow through the road, so that it doesn't cause that oscillation, which will eventually cause the bridge's destruction. But the grids, she was driving over those grids, and the wind came up puffing up and blew that Yugo right over the side.
Like a parachute.
Yeah.
Wow, the whole car.
Well, I also know some guys that carried a Yugo through the woods to a pond and threw it in. I mean, so
Yeah, I think you were looking at like 1,000 pounds.
You know some interesting cats, man.
Well, no, this is supposed to be the Ask the Gardener segment, but this is entertaining, so I'll move along. No, there was when I was in college in East Lansing, it was Campus Hill Apartments, and behind the Campus Hill Apartments was a big wooded area.
Nice.
So I went trailing back there one day and stumbled upon some naked people standing in a circle, and they happened to be smoking a joint. And I'm like, hey, what's up with this? And they're like, hey, come on over. And I'm like, okay.
Do I have to be naked?
Down and jumped in.
Yeah, absolutely I did. I will not lie. I absolutely did. And then I started frequenting that place because it was pretty cool. But it was just a big it was just a
Good pot, man.
it was a big dugout gravel pit that they had used to build the expressways with, and it was back in the woods, so they just made it like a nude beach back there. And it was kind of, you kind of had to stumble on it to know about it, but there were a lot of people back there in the summertime, I mean.
Right.
And it was in that pond, it was a big gravel pit. Somebody carried a Yugo back there. We had to pull the Yugo out of the water back there because somebody actually threw it. Dude, it was hard to get a motorcycle back there because of the terrain. I mean, they carried a Yugo in there by hand and threw it in the pond.
You're looking at a 1,000-pound car. That doesn't take a whole lot.
That's like the 7th level of drunkenness, dude. You really got to make a running start before that.
Well, we were upset because That water was really clean. We were upset because, now it's contaminating the
All
water.
right. Yeah, that's ugly. All right, let's grow something.
Yeah. Hey, what's up in the growing industry there? Now that we got like 6 minutes left.
It keeps going, man. A lot of people are getting into it. Our figures show that it's becoming more popular. I think growing's happening. I've never felt so close to God as when I grow. It's just very...
Now, is that the growing or the consumption of the growing that makes you feel close to God? What is that?
Mainly the growing, dude, because you're assisting life. It's like
Nice.
a simple, pure form. I mean, there's nothing more harmless to me than a guy growing a plant. I don't get what all the commotion's about. But,
I don't know. I mean, would you feel just as at home growing orchids or growing tomatoes?
Oh, dude, I have a whole deck I'm standing on right now full of kales, tomatoes. I mean, I got every veggie you can think of. And yes, I feel great growing all of them, too. I don't see too much of a difference between it all.
Absolutely not. Gardeners like to grow plants.
I love gardening.
Yep,
it's
absolutely.
a very cool process when you're growing food, especially. But if you're growing flowers, it's rewarding.
Hugely rewarding. Tell me you don't walk in there after you haven't been in a few days. You walk in your grow room, you see all this growth, and you're like, yeah, dude, I did that. Or I at least had a part of it, I pointed it in the right direction.
I certainly encouraged it a lot, didn't I?
I wished it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always super stoked. And yeah, growing has changed my life. I think it's made me a more peaceful dude,
LJ, what's your favorite advanced product? Is there a favorite? Do you have a favorite?
God, it's hard to say. I really like the B52. I just do. I always have. Even when I was using other nutrient brands years ago, I always had B52 in the lineup because I just felt like it was the most complex B vitamin out there, and it's an insurance policy in my mind. It's your room gets too hot, your lights are on, whatever. Just stress that plant. If there's a bunch of B52 present, you're probably going to skate. You're probably going to make it. You know what I mean?
That B formulation of vitamins is
9
something.
different Bs, I believe.
Those plants really get a kick from that. I mean, that's like the stress reliever. They just are happy as clams when you put the bees in.
Ours also has fulvics in it for faster delivery, and there's just a lot to it. It at least super thrive like you're banging rocks to make fire in my mind. It's just a better version of that old stuff. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah. Say, are we gonna be able to have some callers on? I haven't got the phone plugged in the right way. I had the problem with the phones today. But when we get some callers back online and encourage people to call to ask questions of you, LJ, is there a way we're gonna get some? Maybe we can get some samples of this kind of stuff to give away.
I just talked to them about that, so we should be hearing back from them soon, but I doubt it will be too much of a problem. Yeah, I absolutely think you guys should check some of it out.
Well, it certainly gives us a great opportunity to talk about things like B52 or things like the tarantula or things like the voodoo juice. I mean, these are all...
I love the voodoo juice.
Line when I discovered advanced nutrients. I'd ran, not every other one, but most of the biggies. The House and Garden, the GH for years, all that different stuff. And when I ran it just blew my mind how easy, just no deficiencies, no custom mixing. I mean, it's just easy.
Well, LJ...
I just got down the way. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to. We only got a couple minutes left in the show, but I just got to thank you for always coming on and being on with Ask the Gardener. We didn't get a chance to ask a lot of questions today, but it's always awesome talking to you.
It's always awesome talking to you. See, I feel the same thing towards you. I'm like, dude, thank you for having me on each week. So great to catch up with you guys. Love all your work and all that. I mean, I just think this is the most killer radio show going. I mean, nobody else. Everybody's scared to talk about, the MMJ and.
Do you listen before I call you when I put you on? Are you consuming the show?
I listen to it up until you call me, and then I step away because of the delay, and I'm I'm kind of a modest guy, a little embarrassed hearing myself on there.
Well, I remember the first time we had you on video, you were like pacing around in circles. But you forgot you were on camera.
Yeah, man, I get a little nervous with it's a lot of people to address, and I just want to make sure I'm doing the best that I can and delivering them great information and helping the community. I think we're all here to help this community, It's like people keep trying to put out this fire, and guys like us are trying to reignite it, and
always stoking the fire.
All right, man, we got to run. We got to run. We're out of time,
And
man.
thank you for everything. You guys rock, dude.
We'll talk
Thank
to you
you.
soon, brother.
Thank you.
Catch us next week. We'll be back live from the Iron Lab studio, powered by the Metro Detroit Compassion Club. It is the Political Twist-Up Show.
Goodbye.
Multimedia Digital Network.